Hello everybody, thank you for clicking on this video. Before we get into it, because this will be a little different than normal, just if you enjoy the video, if you enjoy this style, it's going to be something new. It's probably going to be a little sketchy. Of course, my mic quality is bad anyways, but we're going to hope it's good. Just leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Leave some comments if you want to leave a little word, and I will appreciate it greatly. Let's get into it. Do you guys ever have that problem of when you're talking to like your inner head with your bigger head, formulating one of the most beautiful and elaborate string of thoughts you could ever think of inside your mindscape, but then you speak it out loud and it just deforms and devolves into borderline caveman grunts full of like slurred together memes and slang? Like, it's when your brain sort of just
I'm doing it! I'm doing it! Yeah! Yeah! And some of these, and some of these. Almost there, and done. Now let's see how it looks so far.
yeah, we're gonna hope this isn't too much of that. So, have you ever wondered why people do Easter the way they do? Like, where does it come from, right? Well, you've come to the right place. Hopefully. Hopefully. I can't promise much. So, what is Easter? Some would say it's bunnies, candies, and even tumbly rumblies. Some are just looking for that good Easter dinner, maybe lunch, so they can slowly ease into that typical food coma that I know we've all been into before. Same thing like Thanksgiving and Christmas, right? Also, a quick side note, can we discuss how weird the idea of the Easter bunny is? Like, how are kids not scared of that idea? The idea of bipedal, human-sized bunny comes early in the morning to lay eggs, which if you didn't know, because of your lack of common human knowledge, bunnies don't lay eggs. But this bipedal bunny comes in, lays colorful eggs equipped with a variety of patterns, and full to the shell, full to the egg, full to the whatever of candy and teeth rotting goodness, right? And don't even get me started on the idea of Santa, okay? If that's even his real name. I've been informed that his real name is actually Saint Nicholas. I don't know who made him a saint. So, this concept of a bearded man creeps into your house during the height of the night to give you gifts out of the kindness of his heart, as long as you've been quote unquote good. That sounds really sketchy and like pure evil to me, if you ask. And I think we all here, even those who aren't religious, know the religious significance of Easter, right? The day Christians, I believe, around the globe, even though I know the traditions probably change depending on country, celebrate the resurrection of Jesus Christ.
Drake? What? Where's the body of Christ? It goes right there. See, I drew it with a magic marker. You were supposed to Jesus Christ, the power saw. Dude, I'm gonna. Oh, really? Yes. So go get the body. Okay, I will. I see the problem.
You know, the centerpiece of the whole religion, that without it, everything else falls apart. And like, really, Christians celebrate, Jesus' resurrection every Sunday, and really, like every day. But that's besides the point. Um, because Easter is more special and more standout, right? More people go to church than normal standards, more and louder music, typically a topical and more emotional sermon over the resurrection. That's pretty typical. Of course, every church, every country probably has their own little traditions here and there. But I'm not here to talk about those, right? Also, if you don't believe me that for some reason that this is like the centerpiece and core of the religion, just go like read 1 Corinthians 15, like 16 through 19. It's throughout the Bible, but if you want a specific spot, there you go, you peasants. So, yeah, there you go. So where do Easter traditions come from, right? And I'm not just talking about, again, the religious ones, just like the everyday Joe version of Easter, right? What you and your family did, what you and your family's families do, your friends, your brother's mother, whatever, right? What are they doing? What are they doing for Easter, right? So, I scoured the internet. I endured blistering winds, scorching deserts. I climbed the highest peak and the tallest tower. I mean, wrong line, sorry. Okay, I didn't really go through that much. Let's be real. Let's be real. I just Googled it like everyone else would and looked at the first things I came to, right? In which that included things like Wikipedia and all this other stuff. So I'm here to tell you what I found. So listen up here. Easter, as you would imagine, is full of what's known as pagan traditions. Pagans being any religion or religion practices other than like mainstream, as in like Christianity, Judaism, Islam, Islamic practices, any of that. So paganism is just referring to any like, there's not many pagan religions anymore, at least that I personally know of. Again, they're smaller. Easter tradition originates from that. And honestly, a lot of at least American holidays and holiday traditions originate from a mixture of pagan tradition, sort of infused with what the Catholics and Protestants did when they came over from the Old World back in the 1700s. Let's talk about the egg, the Easter egg, and where it comes from real quick. Okay, so basically beforehand, eggs were like a symbol of like new life and like rejuberance by pagans, and so we're just like, yeah. Christians were like, yeah, that could be like Jesus offering new life, and so we sort of, not necessarily we, but colonists sort of were just like, let's just snag that, let's mix it around a little bit in our religious blender here, and then serve it back to them in a way to sort of like convert them slowly but surely to our religion. Okay. And so it became, a custom to paint the eggs and hide them and seek them. It's like you're supposed to represent, Mary and whoever finding the tomb, yada yada yada. But on the other hand, for again, for regular people, Easter eggs could be more of a symbol of like what it was for the pagans, just for like new life, new birth. It could be a time to celebrate new practices and almost like a new year kind of thing, even though it's in April. And then just like I thought and said earlier, Easter traditions change per country. I'm going to be specifically discussing just a little bit of the US traditions, as that is where I live. But depending on country affiliation or religion affiliation, you will have a different set of practices and traditions. But for just like the average Joe, really at this point, everything I could find has shown that it has a severe lack of meaning nowadays. Most people, at least a lot of people, at least if they're not doing it for religious reasons, and if you're doing it for religious reasons, most of the time people call it Resurrection Day or Resurrection Sunday instead of Easter. They sort of just do it to do it, like because everyone else does it. Time for kids to get candy, time for family gatherings and re-meet with family and have a good meal typically, and that's about all it chops up to nowadays in America. I could be wrong, but out of the research I did, and I'm not just reading off of Wikipedia like I said I would, that's all it really is. So just as a fun fact, Easter eggs, or at least the candy in them, the plastic eggs with the candy, that wasn't even a thing until like 1920, 30, like early America, like early industrial America. And originally, which honestly this makes sense to me because I've always seen this in like cartoons or movies or whatever, it used to only be jelly beans, and then over time we slowly added different variety of candies. One of the next ones being Peeps. It was what the original Peeps were made in the 50s to put in the eggs. But more and over time it just became a convoluted mess of different teeth rotting goodnesses and those things that give you diabetes. Over time has been warped further and further away from the meaning it used to have. I don't want to say it was Americanized, at least in America, but that's sort of what happened, if you want to see it that way. I already sort of went into detail over what the religious significance of Easter is. That's more of, again, if that is the route one goes down, it's usually called Resurrection Day. It's the day to more specifically focus on the details, the importance, the significance of Jesus Christ's resurrection. And it's just a more powerful and spiritual time using the Christian's life, that weekend or so. It can be full of a variety of practices depending on what you fall under, if you're Catholic or if you're Protestant. Protestant just being anything other, well, Protestant being Baptist, Methodist, Pentecostal, anything other than Catholic, basically, is Protestant. I'm not going to go into detail over the separation of church or anything, but just know that you will probably have, or people typically have, separate traditions, like certain religious affiliations tend to fast even weeks before, and fasting being when you don't eat or drink as much, it depends, but it's when you fast before event and then you have a really big meal because you're probably starving to death at that point. For Easter, it's lighting of candles, sunrise service, nighttime service, like tons of different things. It depends where you fall under. So really, I didn't find much. It was pretty inconclusive. A lot of things just say it could only be traced back to early pagan traditions with no real specific place. So I just wanted to make a video over it just to inform you guys. And just for a different kind of video, a little funny, a little derpy, and I hope you enjoyed. Bye.